Good evening all. I am Dr. A. Kamachi, Associate Professor working at Computer Science with Data Analytics Department of PSG College of Arts and Science. So today we will see the topic multi-threading in Java. So in Java programming, multi-threading is very important because multi-threading is a unique concept which is not available in any other previous programming languages. From Java onwards only, that is in object-oriented programming only, we are having the concept called multi-threading. So multi-threading is nothing but executing more than one program simultaneously. So usually in Windows we are using the concept called multitasking. That's why the Windows operating system became very popular. So at the starting stages we have used only the command based operating system. So in Windows operating system only we have used multi-user interface, that is multitasking systems. So in Java also we are having multitasking systems in the name of multi-threading, which means executing more than one Java program simultaneously is called multi-threading. Okay. So what is multi-threading? The definition. So multi-threading is similar to multi-processing, that is executing more than one program simultaneously. So a multiprocessing operating system can run several processes at the same time. That is, concurrent programming can be achieved through multi-threading concepts in Java. And what are threads? A thread is nothing but a normal single flow of execution of the program. So what are threads? A thread is a piece of code that run in concurrent with other threads. That is, a thread is a single flow of execution of the program. Say for example, very big program can be divided into small modules. That modules can be put up into the thread. Okay. So thread is nothing but part of the program or single flow of execution. So a big program can be divided into threads. That threads can be executed concurrently. This is what we are calling multi-threading. Thread concept. So multi-threads on multiple CPUs. There are two types of threads, that is, multiple threads can share a single memory, that is one part. The another part is multiple threads can use their own memory, that is without sharing memory they can use their own memory. So like that we are having two types of threads, sharing concept without sharing. And why do we need threads? To enhance parallel processing or concurrent programming, we are using threads. So to increase the response time of the user and also to increase the time consuming process, like to reduce the time consuming process, like CPU time can be effectively used if we are using multi-threading. Okay, because at the same time we are running multiple processes, so that the CPU time can be effectively used. For that we are in need of multi-threading. So threads in Java. So actually there are two types of multi-threading concepts available in Java, that are extending thread and implementing thread. Okay. We can achieve multi-threading concept in Java using two ways, that is inheritance concept or using interface, multiple inheritance concept or interface concept. See, say for example, if we want to inherit the built-in class thread in our program, then we can use class name extends thread. Thread is the built-in class which is already available in Java. If we are inheriting thread class into our program, then automatically all the thread benefits will be included in our program. That is the meaning. Okay. And another method is implementing interface. We can implement runnable interface in our Java program. So if we are implementing runnable interface, then all the thread benefits can be included into the program. So both are provides the same use, but the concepts are different. First method is inheritance concept, second method is interface concept. So we can use any one of the method to avail multi-threading facility into our program. A thread that is a single flow of execution or single sequential flow of control within a program, that is thread program can handle one task at any time, but multiple tasks can be executed simultaneously within the same processor. Within a CPU, multiple processes can be executed simultaneously using threads. And multi-threaded program, this is the block diagram of multi-threading. So a main thread can be divided into small threads, thread A, thread B, thread C. These three are the small threads which we can split the main thread, so that these threads can be executed simultaneously, so that the CPU response time can be increased. So this is the block diagram of multi-threading. And this is single and multi-threaded process. We can compare what is single thread and what is multi-thread. The single thread and multi-threaded process can be compared here. Here in the first diagram, that is in the first box, we are having single thread process, that is only one process is running on the CPU. In another diagram, in another box, we are having multiple threads, that is we are having three threads. Three threads are executing simultaneously. So here this is left hand side, we are having single thread process, in right hand side we are having multi-threaded process. So that main comparison between single thread and multi-thread is the multi-thread process can increase the CPU time, and also it increases the performance of the program. That is what single and multi-thread comparison. Then multi-threaded server. For serving multiple clients concurrently, we can use multi-threading. So here client 1, client 2 are using internet, okay, but the threads are in the server. That server can be executed through internet. This is also possible in multi-threading. Java threads. So multiple Java threads can be executed. Here we are having one life cycle. So for multi-threading, we are having life cycle. There are important 5 stages are there. That is, the first stage is newborn state. That is, when we are creating thread, then that is called newborn state. Then second step is runnable state. Runnable state means if the particular thread is ready, if the particular thread is ready to run, means then that threads will be put up on the queue. That queue is called a ready queue. So those processes are ready, that processes are kept in the queue, that queue is called runnable queue. That is the second stage. And the third stage is nothing but running state. When the process is running on the processor, then that state is called running state. Then waiting state. While running the program, while running the process or thread, if there is any resource is not available, if there is any shortage of resource or any other interruption while running the program, then that program or that process will be kept in waiting queue. That is the fourth state. So once if the resource is allocated to the process, then again that process will be put up on the running state. So like that, waiting state and running state will be executed one by one. Then dead state. If we want to kill the thread, then we can use dead state. Say for example, there are 3 threads are running now, thread A, thread B, thread C, and we want to kill thread C. That is, we don't want to run thread C. Thread C's process is over and we don't want to process thread C, means then we can pass thread C dot stop. Then automatically thread C will be stopped and it will be killed. That killing state is called premature death. Okay. So like that we can have the life cycle of multi-threading concept: newborn state, runnable queue or runnable state, then running state, waiting state, then dead state. There are 5 important stages in multi-threading concept. So there are 2 methods for creating threads. One is inheritance and the second one is interface. That is, we are using inheritance concept here. That is, first method is extending thread class. Inheritance means we are using the keyword extend. So here we are using the inheritance concept. That is, we are extending the thread class which is already available in Java. So here threads are implemented as objects that contains a method called run. So run is the heart of the multi-threading concept. Run method is the heart of multi-threading concept. So whatever code we want to run, we have to give within the run method. So here class myThread extends thread. So class myThread is our class name. Extends is a keyword. It extends the thread class which is already available in Java. So within this class, we have to call the run method, that is public void run. So within the run method, we are giving the body of execution. The code which we want to run will be given within run method. So after completion of run method, we have to create object for thread class. So myThread thr1, like thread 1, thread 2 or th1, whatever object we want to create, that is user defined name. So we can create our object for the class, then using that object we can start the thread, we can stop the thread, we can resume the thread, we can wait, we can make the thread to wait. So all those processing can be done using that thread object. So thread object is very important. So whenever we want to run the thread, we have to create the object for thread class. So using the thread class we can call all the states. And the second method is threads by implementing runnable interface. So instead of using extends keyword, here we are using implements keyword. So class myThread implements runnable. Runnable is the keyword which is the built-in interface. So if we are implementing runnable interface into our program, then all the multi-threading benefits will be included in our program. So here also the same procedure. Instead of extending thread, here we are using implementing runnable, that's all. All other processes are same, that is we are creating run method. Within the run method, we are giving the code which we want to run. Then we are creating object. Using that object, we can call all the states of multi-threading. So this is the example output. We are having from thread A, I equal to 1, I equal to 2, I equal to 3. Say for example, from thread A, we are showing all the outputs from I equal to 1 to I equal to 5. Then exit from thread A. Then it will show the second thread. Usually it should show the thread B, but here it is showing thread C because this is multi-threading. We cannot predict the runtime. Okay. So the processor can be allocated for thread A or thread B or thread C. Okay. So that we cannot predict. That is called multi-threading. So after the completion of thread A, here thread C is showing. So thread C, k equal to 1 to k equal to 5. After completion of thread C, thread B is started. So thread B equal to 1 to thread B equal to 5. So exit from thread B. So like this is first run. And the second run is absolutely different. That is from thread A, we are having I equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. After that k equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then j equal to 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So like that we cannot predict the runtime, so that the running time may be different. That is the special thing in multi-threading is we cannot get the same output all the time. For all other programming, if A equal to 1, B equal to 2 means then A plus B is 1 plus 2, 3. So all the time we will have the output C equal to 3. But in multi-threading it's not like that. For the first time running, it shows one type of output. For the second time running, the another type of output will be given. So like that it will show the different types of outputs for each and every running. Thread priority. The another important thing is priority. So we can give preference to the thread. Say for example, if we are having 3 threads, thread A, thread B, thread C means which thread want to run first, that we can decide. Say for example, I want to give some preference to thread C, means that can be possible because I can give the priority. So usually normal priority, the value for norm priority, that is normal priority is 5. The value for maximum priority is 10 and the value for minimum priority is 0. So if I am giving thread C dot max priority, then automatically 10 will be assigned to thread C. So what will happen? First thread C will be executed. After completion of thread C only, next thread will be allowed to execute. That is called thread preference or called thread priority. So priority can be given to the thread to run first, next, or and so on. Okay. So that is called thread priority. Then synchronization. Synchronization concept is just opposite to thread priority. In thread priority, we are giving preference to the thread. In synchronization, we can lock the thread. That means if first thread is running, say for example thread A is running, and I don't want to allow any other thread to disturb thread A, means then that is possible. We can lock the thread, that is synchronized thread A. If we are giving synchronized keyword in front of thread A, means then until completion of thread A, no other thread will be allowed to execute. After completion of A only, the next thread will be allowed to execute. That is called synchronization. So synchronization concept is used to lock the thread, that is any other thread is not allowed to execute until the completion of the previous thread. So that is called synchronization concept. This is also very new concept which is not available in any other previous programming languages. And advantages of multi-threading. So what are all the main advantages? In real-time systems or in reactive systems, we are using multi-threading, and more responsive time we can get it, because the CPU time is utilized effectively, so that we are getting more responsive time and more responsive to user input also, and the server can handle multiple clients simultaneously. So mainly it is used for parallel processing or concurrent processing. This can be achieved only by using the concept of multi-threading in Java. The other important advantages are different processes do not share memory space, but if we want, we can share the same memory space for multiple processes. This is also possible in multi-threading, and we are having the important concept called JVM, Java Virtual Machine, can be effectively used here. As we know, Java Virtual Machine, that is, it is used to convert bytecode into machine code. So Java Virtual Machine is effectively used here, so that we are using multi-threading concept for all our executions. Whenever we want multi-processing, concurrent processing means, then that can be achieved by using the concept of multi-threading. I hope this session is very useful to you, because the multi-threading concept is very important concept for all further programming languages, because all further programming languages are having this multi-threading concept in different names. Thank you.